Alright guys, welcome to first episode of a potential series that I may or may not continue. And I know I said I've been going to concentrate a little bit on films, but that clearly hasn't happened. But I think I'm going to try and get something sorted for around Halloween so I can get that done. I just got to make sure that there's no addresses on the fridge. Good. And yeah, look at that cute calendar with some floppy. And yeah, so basically, it's just a casual sort of live thing. I've said I've wanted to talk about certain things, which by the way, thank you for everyone's patience with the sort of personal videos that I've uploaded recently. But if I've got stuff to say, yeah, it's nice to get it off your mind and out there to the world. So yeah, basically not sure how long this is going to go on for. If I can read the comments, then I will reply. So feedback, opinions, always appreciated. Even if you want to troll the shit out of me, that's perfectly fine. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. But discourse is always good. And yeah, so basically, I've got a beer. I've got a load of washing up to do. And I thought, while I do the washing up and while I drink the beer, talk about something that's been on my mind recently. But first, let's get this beer opened. So, going to be tucking into the Boxcar collaboration with Beer 52 and Brother Anders, and this is the Oat Stout that they brewed. 6.7% ABV. Did not realise it was that high. Thought it was more like a session oatmeal stout. But hops are Bramlin Cross, malts are Pilsner, oats, Munich, Karen Crystal, chocolate and DRC, and then melanoidin, or melanoidin, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Yeast is SO4. Boxcar Beer 52%, a series of beers designed by Boxcar's head brewer and brewed by Brother Anders in Belgium. So yeah, this was from the Raise the Bar box, which was a tad underwhelming, and that's reminded me, I need to cancel this month's box because money too tight to mention. And yeah, you can see the remnants of a shopping trip there. The kitchen's not looking the best. It does need a clean, but people are away this weekend, so I've pretty much got the house to myself. So I'm just going to keep myself busy and clean. I did pre-order Red Dead Redemption 2 though, so I'm looking forward to that. Been getting back into my gaming because I've stolen my younger brother's Xbox One. And I've been playing GTA 5 online. So I think my gamer tag's Lower Caribou, I don't know, it's an automatically generated one. I'll probably put that in the description if anybody wants to friend me on Xbox Live so we can play GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2 together. Or even, if you want to, for all the kids out there watching my channel, let's do a co-op on a Fortnite. No, we won't, because that's a fucking stupid game, although I can't stop playing it. Because you can't just do one round, you've got to do a few rounds, and I've never come in like the top 5, so it's just not a game for me. Anyway, so, yeah, the Raise the Bar box from Beer 52 was alright, but there wasn't much variety in the breweries. So, as good as it is to get an idea of some of the breweries showcased in the box, for reviewing purposes, it's a bit of a pain in the arse because, why do you want to see 4 beers from the same... Oh, wait a minute, I'll do that with Macella, don't I? Anyway, but yeah, beer in a glass, looking very nice indeed. I'm not there yet, that's definitely not jet black, but it's a sort of a dark, deep, oaky, mahogany sort of look. Beer poured with about half a finger's worth of a slight beige head. Craig says, Boxcar not happy about the way they turned out. I remember you telling me about that. The other Boxcar beers that I did drink and review, Boxcar beers, because let's just put it in quotation marks, they're okay, but it's like, it's just so, look, another DDH IPA. I don't care. Do them well, I'm going to praise you, but you just make these generic, boring beers. It's like, ugh. Anyway, so, looks good. Doesn't smell too bad either. It's got that sort of like porridge oat sort of aroma, as you would expect. With a little bit of a fruity tartness in there. A little bit of it's like burnt milk almost. Again, actually, a subtle banana aroma, which when there's no banana added to a beer, not really the best aroma, as me and Paul experienced on our Manchester Piss Up when all of us were there. Craig, of course, Stu, James, Rob, and Harry. I'm so looking forward to that next time when we're all together. That's just going to be absolutely mental. Might have a meet-up coming up in November, but I need to get stuff sorted out. There are two options that I have, but I don't want to let two people down and one person down, that sort of stuff. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind because of financial constraints and holidays owed and stuff like that. So I need to get that sorted. But yeah, any sort of excuse to meet up is good. And I've still got my Indie Man BeerCon strap, which is looking worse for wear. It'd be nice if Indie Man actually replied to emails, so I can actually buy a t-shirt, which they've probably not got any left, which is understandable. Not hating on Indie Man or the guys at Port Street, because it was a great festival and I had the best time ever. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Manchester because they're doing a tap takeover at the moment at Port Street from the brewery that does, let's see, hi Sexy, hi Paul. Enjoyed your mystery beer review, by the way. Yeah, and they're doing like a French toast double IPA. I can't remember who the brewery is, but I really want to try that. And Craig says hello to Paul. Yeah, if I don't read comments, it's because I'm blind. And one eye's looking at the camera and one eye's admiring the wonderful outdoors. But yeah, Manchester is a joy, and Port Street Beer House was gorgeous. Yeah, it certainly was. I love that place. But yeah, so the stout smells good. It smells like an oatmeal stout should, but with a little bit of a fruity tartness. And I'm still getting that slight banana, which I'm not. It just doesn't smell right, that aspect of it. And that sort of like almost slightly sour milk. Anyway, the other flavours make up for that. So cheers, guys. Okay, you don't get any banana on the flavour. I found the beer too much when they brewed 4 box with this one. Balkans is decent today. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the Balkans box actually. The German box was probably my favourite so far. Still got a couple of beers left from that actually. And I'm going to be doing a German beer week next week. So, announcement. And yeah, thanks for that comment, Greg Roman. Am I reading that right? Yeah, apologies about this. Like the organic Im stout we had. Exactly. But thankfully, not getting that in the flavour, so I don't think there's any sort of like yeast infection. Not with the beer anyway. But yeah, the Beer 52 stuff. It sort of fluctuates. Do you know what? I don't know if I'm going to actually talk about Brexit, to be honest. I might just have a little bit of a beery chat while I do the washing up. Yeah, we'll obviously retitle this video. But yeah, let's get Brexit out of the way before I continue. Just going to put it out there. When we were voting for Brexit, I voted to remain because, quite simply and quite selfishly, which I think is the way you should vote, it should be whatever is best for you. I don't care about other people. I don't care about other people's woes. My needs come first, fundamentally. And yeah, we should help people when we can, because there are many people who do genuinely need help. And I'm joking aside, I think we should do what we can. Not in that sort of like, oh, I'm proud and British, but you know, hate patriotism. Such a bullshit thing. You know, you should be proud of something you've earned, not something that you have no control over. But at the same time, if you're proud of your country, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to judge you or anything like that, but I just think to be proud of something, you have to earn or deserve the right to be proud of that, if that makes any sense. But yeah, but when I vote selfishly, because if it benefits me and the people who I care about, then of course I'm going to vote one way. So when we were voting for Brexit, I was living in Germany. So it made perfect sense for us to remain in in the EU. People that aren't you. Baby Ruth, wink wink, too much cheese on the taco, probably. And I couldn't read that last comment. Apologies, Paul. It doesn't last too long. When you're watching a live stream, it like stays on the side of the screen. Look at that lighting. Look at that. UI, beautiful camera technology there for you. But yeah, it's like, what was I talking about? You threw me off. Yeah, the stream stuff. I mean, the picture seems to be okay, but it's really too fiddly. I'd like the comments to stay. Can I actually press so the comments stay at the side? Live chat, there we go. Yeah, there we are, because I don't need to see myself. So I was complaining about something that's easily fixed. But, yeah. Don't be proud of what you are is fine, but don't hate on others who are not. Exactly. But, yeah, I'm not sort of the patriot. I know there is a dangerous narrative floating around, but at the same time I think people are going off on another tangent. I think people are being unfairly labelled as right wing or fascist or far right and stuff like that. And a lot of the time they're just people with genuine concerns who I might not even agree with, but they've got a right to be concerned sometimes. So I think we could just throw labels way too willy-nilly. Is willy-nilly politically correct? Yeah, I think willy-nilly is politically correct. And yeah, people are too afraid to speak their mind. It doesn't matter which side of the political fence you sat on. You know, people are too afraid. But going back to Brexit, I voted to remain because I was living in Germany, and at the time I thought I would be living in Germany, but it seems that my relationship pretty much was Brexit. It's a really sad but funny irony, which I do get a kick out of. And yeah, so people voted to remain. Not that something I agree with, but again, people had concerns. Yes, there was fear-mongering, but that was on both sides. That's politics. That's politics in the 21st century. Instill fear into the population and they will crumble and follow. That's essentially how it works. So that's why I don't really stand behind any sort of specific politician or any political party, because you're always going to get fucked over one way or the other. But at the same time, if someone at that time is fighting something I believe in, I will vote for that. Whether that blows up in my face, that's what happens. That's democracy. The people spoke, whether they had good intentions or not, whether they were going off proper information or not. The democratic process, I know there wasn't much in it, but the democratic process dictated that people wanted to leave the EU. And what I'm actually really getting frustrated about is the fact that there are people on the streets, there are people in the chains of power, there are people in big business, there are people within the media who are saying that we should vote again. And it's like, are you fucking serious? It's like, do you know how Hitler rose to power back in the day? Appeasement. Things like that. Just going against what democracy is. So, yeah, if we do indeed have a referendum, I'm voting to leave, because we voted for leave in the first place, even though it goes against what I voted for initially. Was I really going to spend a whole video washing up and talking about something that was summarised so quickly? Moral of the story is, we voted to leave, we should leave. And I don't think people should be playing around and trying to stop that from happening. I know people have concerns, and I know not everyone on the streets yesterday in London wanted to overturn the process. They just wanted to have their voices and opinions concerned when we do actually properly begin making a deal and getting things arranged, because it's absolutely ridiculous how long this is taking. It's ridiculous what is being said by our own politicians, and then some of the people within the EU itself. Again, fear-mongering is coming into play, and it's clouded people's judgment, it's getting under the skin, and it's influencing them in ways that they shouldn't be influenced. So, yeah, if there is indeed another referendum, which I don't think there will be, I'd like to think that there won't be. There'll be people kicking up a fuss, but we won't get to that point. But if there are, I'm voting to leave, because that's what we did in the first place. Whether it's a good thing or not, I believe too much in this bullshit idea, because it is a bullshit idea at the end of the day. When you really do break it down, what exactly is democracy? But at the same time, people who think that way are instantly sort of like labelled on the sort of right side. The way I see myself, because I hate bullshit political labels, I would see myself as sort of like a centrist, a libertarian, a centrist libertarian. I see good on that side, I see good on that side, I see good up there, I see good down there, I see bad there, I see bad there. And I'd like to think that my views are grounded in logic and common sense, and I think people get a little bit too idealistic. And that's why I'm getting a little frustrated, because a lot of my family members do very much lean to the left. And they're saying stuff that I just fundamentally don't agree with. But if I was to voice that, which I sometimes do on Facebook, but if I was to properly, well, actually I do troll a lot on Facebook, let's be honest. But if I were to like make a PowerPoint presentation of what I believe, people would shut that down and throw every insult under the sun. And I think we shouldn't be living in a time like that. Anyway, so let's have a look at the comments. So, there's much problem in Germany now as here, but the EU are using Brexit as a cover news story. Could not agree with you more. The Germany that I experienced whilst living there is completely different to the Germany that I can see now. And when I was there earlier this year, I didn't really see it too much, but that's because the unrest hadn't really settled in. But yeah, Germany, it's such a shame, and I think it all boils down to the way Angela Merkel has just dealt with situations, flip-flopping, completely going against what she said initially. But hey, that's the majority of politicians nowadays, I suppose. But yeah, it is really sad. And yeah, that's it. Basically just wanted to say that if there was another referendum, I would change my vote and leave, because that's what we wanted. Anyway, I've not even started the washing up yet, but itchy ear. So I was in Germany, you were still a lot to be proud that you were German. Completely different, it seems, what's today? And Angela is a cunt. There we go, Paul said it beautifully. I read that terribly because I just cannot read these comments properly on this phone. But yeah, going back to the beer, I'm actually really glad that I did not waste a beer review on this. Not because it's a bad beer, but because it's just dull. It's a really nondescript beer. Would you turn down another bottle? Probably not. Would you ever go out your way to buy another bottle? No. That being said, if Boxcar actually do this beer regularly without the Beer 52 involvement, then I would definitely give it a try. It's a good beer for a bit of demagoguery. Well, there we go. But yeah, let's talk about Beer 52 again. I feel like Simon Martin right now in the kitchen. Just with like about 100% less of the viewer retention. But it's not important at the end of the day. But hey, what do I know? People don't write about beer nowadays. Let's see. It's a good beer. Getting all choked up about it. There you go. See, I'm glad you're getting emotional. By the way, massive thank you to everyone, because at this point, I think I'm at 301 subscribers. I know Paul left me a comment or a message to give me a bit of a premature celebration, much like he did in Manchester, but we won't get into that on this stream. So yeah, cheers Paul, genuinely appreciate that, brother, and of course cheers to everyone else who has subscribed. And what I'm going to do is, obviously, because I think my next review milestone is coming, which don't actually have a beer to use, and I do have beers, but I want to save them for Christmas. Well, that means I could just buy beer whenever. Why build it up when I can just go to a bottle shop or go online and just buy another beer? Do you know what I mean? A sticking salty cheers to you too, my friend and brother forever. Definitely. And here's to the next meetup next year, which I think is are we doing the Kent meetup? That should be good. It doesn't matter. We could go to fucking the Scunthorpe Canberra Beer Festival, which, you notice they might actually have a really good beer festival in Scunthorpe. But we could go to anywhere, and it doesn't matter if the beer was shit. It would be the company that you keep. Plus, we can bring our own beers anyway. So it's just going to be great. Why am I getting angry? I'm getting angry at no one. But yeah, this isn't too bad, but it's... I don't know. I want to try genuine boxcar, not contract brewed sort of boxcar, because from what I've heard, they do a really good job. But yeah, Beer 52. I personally am a big fan of Beer 52. In fact, do you know what? Let's actually get on with some washing up. Before I do though, beer glasses, cleaning beer glasses. Now, the way I do it, I know, is probably going to make people cringe and shout at the screen, but it's the only way I can do it with what I have. So what I usually do is, because I like to I just leave the glasses basically until they build up slightly, so I can do it in one fell swoop. That said, I've just got two that need to be cleaned. So what I initially do is I put a tiny bit of washing up liquid in the glass and then put some water in there just to like let it soak, right? So that's been soaking. Yeah, you can tell I was drinking an Imperial Stout. Look at that. That's got like the colour of, it looks like wine actually, but that's just basically from the remnants that were left at the tip of the stem. I'm talking about the beer, by the way, but yeah, isn't that a gorgeous glass? It's probably one of my favourites. Probably going to smash it on camera now. Which, by the way, I actually had a fatality the other day. I smashed my Northern Monk refectory glass by knocking it over, and it was full of a Whiplash beer that I took about 5 sips of whilst doing a review. So that was fun. And yeah, glass everywhere in the bedroom. God, that water's hot. And yeah, sticky floors. And real shame, because I was really enjoying that. It was an extra pale, American style extra pale ale that they'd done. Can't remember the name of it. Didn't pay too much for it, so it wasn't financially too much of a loss. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, basically what I do is with these glasses, and I know you probably shouldn't clean this way, but I don't have a dishwasher. I don't have any sort of system. I don't even have like a proper cleaning brush. The only brush I've got is this, which is okay. And I know you shouldn't really use like soapy water and stuff, but sometimes you've just got to. So what I do is in the washing up, excuse me, thrilling stuff. This is just as exciting as the jigsaw stream. And what I do is fill it with water and then do this. Let's see. I don't like long stem. Yeah, I am just waiting for this glass. Don't do that on camera, it looks dodgy. I'm very, very hesitant to use this glass a lot of the time because of how thin that stem is. I mean, look at that. That is not going to last too long. I'm actually surprised that came to me in one piece. Not to criticise McKellar and their packaging, but just because it's just so fragile. stream got awkward and extremely sexy. Well, there we go. You're a few beers in, Paul, so you can do what you will with this video, both during and after stream. But what I do is, getting back to dodgy again, I just clean the inside with that. And yeah, you're thinking, oh, it's dead soapy, you can't leave it to just to drain like that. What I do is I get the cold water tap and just let it go. I just hold the glass, let the beer just circulate, just pour out of the top. One consistent fluid movement. Empty. Do it again. So if there's any little bits and bobs lingering around, you can just scoop them up. But just keep the water on it, so the water's going in and round. So that should hopefully get rid of any sort of traces of bubbles. But what I tend to do is, once that's like washed and strained, I will actually, before I properly dry it, I will give it another go under the tap. But yeah, so there's my track glass. That's the heaviest glass I have. That's an absolute monster of a glass. See, now with this, I don't really need to use the brush because I can just use the scouring pad. Can't really get that done. But yeah, let's talk about beer 52 while I do this, because I don't need to explain this again. I've found that in recent months, beer 52 have gone on leaps and bounds. It's not the Balkans box. What's it called? The box that's currently available now. Balkans. It's not. No, Bastille. That's not it. Bastille. Where am I getting Bastille from? Oh my god, what's the box called? I can't remember, but like with beers from the likes of Croatia and Slovenia, that to me has been a real eye-opener actually, some great beers. But what I have found is, even in the boxes like that, which are really good, beer 52, let me just, so you can actually hear me, beer 52 seem to do this thing where there's only about 3 or 4 breweries showcased in the box when you do a box like that. So you're getting multiple beers from the same brewery, which in itself is not a bad thing, because if you're getting like a light beer and a dark beer, you get to experience on both sides of the spectrum. TV adverts now for beer 52, they must be making so much money. Yeah, they certainly are. I've not seen the video yet. Balkans. I don't know if it's the Balkans. I can't remember, it probably is. I can't remember what it's called. My geography is terrible, so that's why I don't know, pretty much. God, there's loads of cups. I don't get it right when people have cups of coffee, why they put like a cup into the washing up bowl. Just rinse it out and use it again. It's your own germs. I don't get it. I don't get why people have to like properly clean everything after they use it. Obviously like a plate and like cutlery, fair enough. But when it's a cup, it's just had a liquid in it. It's just got liquid in it. It doesn't much to rent. Not a coffee cup does. Doesn't take much to rent. Does it take much to what? What are you saying, Paul? As you can see, I don't give half as much for shit for soap left in cups and stuff. This drives you up the wall too, mate. I'm sorry for the horrible comment. I'm using voice text. Pretty much say no more, Paul. But yeah, beer 52, when they do these boxes, I mean, thankfully the German box had a lot of variety in it. And I can understand that when they do these like trips and stuff and get in touch with these breweries, you know, sometimes it's just not feasible to have, let's say, if you're getting well, they do either boxes of 8 or 10. It's just not feasible to be able to get beers from 8 completely different breweries all of the time. I understand that. But when you're like showcasing a specific sort of country or a nation, and then you've only got like 3 breweries in the box, and like at the point where it's like almost 3 or 4 beers from one brewery, it's like, is that really worth it? I mean, yeah, it's good you're getting to try beers from different countries and stuff like that. But I've got to say, probably one of the most disappointing boxes that I've had. The Oktoberfest box that you had, actually full of variety. I actually thought it would be nothing but Oktoberfest. Yeah, I was under the impression that it could be just like British breweries doing like Märzen's or like the Fest Lager. Although I've got to say, there have been some really interesting sounding sort of Oktoberfest style beers made by some of the craft breweries and them doing their own little like Oktoberfest events. But yeah, I was like under the impression, yeah, they'll probably have like a few of the big Oktoberfest beers in there from Germany, and then some like brewed at Anders, and then maybe some brewed by some UK craft breweries. But no, it's actually not an Oktoberfest beer in sight. Let's see, it almost makes me want to watch. See, the comment doesn't stay on the screen for long enough, and yes, I'm using wet fingers on the phone. Thank you for saying that, Con. Great. Much dishes almost. I wish they would just stop collaborating at Brewery Anders. I think that's basically just who they sort of work with from now on. I've got a feeling that the next box that they're doing, which in terms of its theme sounds fantastic because it's about pairing beer with food, and that's something that I'm really excited about. But I've just got a feeling that it's just going to be all beers brewed by Brewery Anders, which sort of again takes the sheen off it a little. I mean, I know I've been getting the McKellar box as well. Let's see. The Prof are fantastic. Can't they just brew with them instead? Yeah, you'd think so. You'd imagine they've got the clout to do it now. Do you know what I mean? But, I mean, don't get me wrong, Brewery Anders, the beers that they've done, that I've had, have all been really solid. But it's just like, just change it up a little bit. And you've got the guy from, who used to be at Partisan Brewing, who's like the head of beer. And I think he has made a change to them. He's definitely a change for the better. In hours of my shift left to go halfway through to have beer with my Sunday dear. That's from Tony. I know I read that absolutely wrong, but I do apologise. Thinking Oktoberfest right now, has to open up a beer since you're going live. Yeah, I've got a really big soft spot for Oktoberfest beers. Which a shameless plug. One day, myself, Dean, and Tony will get the Oktoberfest vid. Well, it's not. It's got nothing to do with Tony because Tony is ready and willing whenever. But it's just getting it arranged with myself and Dean more than anything else because I've still got a few left. I was so happy that I got the Augustina Oktoberfest beer. Got 2 bottles of that. Northern Beer Temple coming through again for me. It helps when the bottle shop owner, John, because he was actually brought up in Germany, so, you know, when you've got respect for the traditions, you get some great beers. Well, all the Tony included are... go away. I don't want to report Paul. not for this. There are things that I could report him for, but I'm not going to. Royal Tony included are going to get really shitty and crazy in England next year. Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I don't have another beer in the fridge, do I? Because I'm really in the mood to have another beer. Oh yes, I do. Actually, he says a lie. And do you know what? I'm not going to review it. I'm just going to drink it. How crazy is that? Just drinking a beer and not reviewing it. But we'll let that sit in there, and I'll rinse out the McKellar glass and use that. But yeah, I actually don't mind this concept. I'm not sure how long I'll be on for. Pretty much as soon as I've finished. When is Paul coming to the UK? Oh my god, I cannot remember. I've got stuff happening in November. I can't remember what date. So that far into the future. I'm sure Paul will answer in the comments. That's such a cop-out, isn't it? Oh, I'm sure Paul will answer. Paul will do it, not me. Let's see. Unsubscribe from Beer52. Going to try review and Anders. I couldn't read that before that went off screen. Just stay on screen comments. What the fuck? And could I sound any more pathetic? Let's see. So, cancelled, unsubscribed Beer 52. Go and try and review just around available beers soon. Yeah, that sounds like an idea. Do you know what they need to do? Beer 52 needs to do a Manchester box. Or a Northwest of England box. They probably have done in the past. But yeah, like, they had stuff like Backwards Bastard. And they've not really had any beers of that sort of calibre since then. Of course, all subjective, but Backwards Bastard, beautiful beer. October 2019. There we go. So, just about a year now, Jesus. Glass did a little popping sound. The more I'm drinking it, the more I'm kind of enjoying it. Not that it's unenjoyable, it's just really fucking bland. And there's just like, there's a little bit too much fruitiness in it. If it was Imperial Strength with other characteristics to back up the fruitiness, then yeah, I'd probably enjoy it a little bit more, but as it is, not really. Peter, you can't even comment to beer meetup for next week. That's true. That is very true. I just sometimes get lost in my own head when I'm getting this stuff planned. And it always seems to just come through right at the end. October would be good for me. But yeah. But yeah, I know Harry and Dean are doing a meetup in early November. The only thing I need to get arranged, because they've not confirmed if I've got the days that I want off. Let me see. Go back to live chat. I'm happy to say that Berger from Brenner Brewing worked outside of Bamberg for years. Oh my god, stop. Sorry, Paul, I'm trying to read this comment, but every time I click on it so it stays on the screen, it's like, what action do you want to take? Do you want to report? Remove? No, I don't want to do any of that. I just like the comments to stay on the screen, please. There we go. Bamberg, 5 years you can hit the quality of the brews he makes. I see. Fair enough. That was a terrible answer. I'm sorry, Paul. But yeah. Yeah. Harry and Dean are doing a meetup, which I'm hoping to go to. But that's about a week before. Going to be in Manchester to watch Hugh Cornwell live with my dad. Got the tickets booked, just need to get hotels sorted. Obviously I've just paid for the 2 old beer calendar, which is coming hopefully early November. Other gig that I've booked with my dad in Leeds. Let's see, and then I've got to get accommodation for that, and then I want to put some money aside for Christmas, so it's still a bit up in the air, but I'm hoping that's going to happen. But if it doesn't happen, I know I might be spending a day with Rob in Leeds, if that's a bit more financially achievable. But I definitely want to do something in November because I've got 2 options. And it would be great to go up to Harry's End and actually go up Harry's End. Oof, hello. It'd be good to actually meet up again with Harry. And of course, meet up with Dean for the first time, my live review co-host. But yeah, either way, it's a win-win for me because I will be doing something with the beery brotherhood that I've come to love and cherish. And I've just seen that a few comments have come up, but I was too slow to read them. But yeah, Beer 52. Yeah, I'm a little bit apprehensive about the upcoming box from Beer 52, which is the sort of culinary themed one. Because again, the theme makes perfect sense, because I do get a little bit excited about the idea of not only pairing beer with food, but also cooking with beer. Come over to PA and come to my end as hard as you can. Did I just... That you didn't even write that. That was just adding at the end. Come as hard as you can. What? You what, bro? Yeah, it's hard to can. No, I didn't misread it. Or put two and two together and make five. That tea towel's absolutely soaking, so I'm not going to use that. There we go. But yeah, cooking with beer has been something I've experimented with a few times. Pairing beer, I've done a couple of videos and done stuff outside of the YouTube stuff. So the box itself sounds like a really good idea. But I don't want it just to be the same fucking beers from the same breweries. So hopefully they'll have released the video for it on the website, so I can at least get a sort of insight as to what we're going to receive. But if it's just going to be the Beer 52 Brewery Anders stuff, I might give it a skip for this month. But yeah, the German box has been fantastic. The box that is currently available now has been great. Although a bit too much Garden Brewery, not going to lie. Especially for me, because I can get their cans. They're quite accessible actually. So, but I got to revisit the Citrus IPA, which when I initially tasted it, tasted a little bit too synthetic. When I was revisiting it whilst watching The Apprentice the other week, it's still got that synthetic edge to it, which I'm not a big fan of. Even though, I do love citrus IPAs. Because I think that's the perfect sort of fruit that you can add to an IPA. And it's good for brewers as well, because you can cut back on the hop profile, I suppose. Why the fuck are you watching The Apprentice? Because it's a good show and I like Alan Sugar. I just think I just drank all the Beer 52 collaborations and reviews. I could see it that way. For the price that I'm paying, I'm getting 10 beers. Mind you, because it's 30 quid, isn't it, a month? Pretty much. So it's like, that 30 quid, I could buy 10 beers from like Honest Brew, or try a different website, do you know what I mean? Because I know there's a German, we were talking about this on Harry's chat, German beer shop that's doing the Frau Gruber stuff, and Rob points out that the McKellar web shop is selling Frau Gruber stuff out of Germany, which is just like, they've probably sold out by now, but it's like I could use that money from Beer 52 for something completely different, or I could use it against some actually interesting beers. So I might actually give Beer 52 a skip this month, dependent on what's in the box, because I've got the McKellar box coming again, which I'm going to keep that subscription. I know my channel pretty much looks like it's sponsored by McKellar. I fucking wish. But yeah, I'd love to actually go to the London bar. That'd be good. Well, obviously you want to go to the Source, don't you? Go to Copenhagen, which I need to get that arranged with James to meet up in Sweden, because that's a great thing. A lot of these places, the biggest hurdle is sorted, accommodation, and probably most of the time the biggest price point. And if not, then if you're meeting up with other people, you can share the costs, and that's the wonderful thing. Do you know what I mean? So if I was just a little bit more sensible with my money, let me know if you're thinking of coming to London, mate. I certainly will. Once I've got my holidays all like refreshed for next year, I'm just going to book loads of stuff in advance, so there's no dicking around. But I know there are some invites that still need to be sorted out, because I know Tony, there are a few things he was invited me to, and I think there was even a trip to Germany on the cards, because I'm definitely going back to Germany in the early part of next year, meeting up with the lovely people in Regensburg, and then I'm hoping to do a little bit of a day out tour here, a day out tour there around Bavaria, spend a day in Bamberg, spend a day in Nuremberg, and then spend a week or a long weekend in Berlin. See if I can because I was offered accommodation by the lovely people over at Pirate Brew Berlin, because they want me to film a documentary in Germany about the Berlin brewing scene. And fuck it, what a great opportunity. How good would that be to film a beer documentary in Berlin? Because you get to meet all these great people, you get to enjoy Berlin as a city. Let's see. I'll have to get that comment back up on the screen about Prague. But yeah, imagine that. Just what are you doing for the next couple of weeks? I'm pretty much just making a craft beer documentary in Berlin. Yeah, nothing major. Just one of those things. Just imagine that. And with the generosity of the craft beer community, fucking hell, you will probably not need to buy one drink at all. But it's not about that. It's about the conversation and community, obviously. No, it genuinely is. Okay, let's see. I'd like to go with you into Prague. Yeah, I'd love to go to Prague. A friend at work actually just came back from Prague and had the worst hangover of his life. To the point where a whole day was him just spent in bed and wasting a day. Let's see. Now these, let's see. Oh, this comment system is terrible. Not the way people comment, obviously, but the fact that it's a pain in the arse to see these comments sometimes. Let's see, crazy. Yeah, let's see those crazy English guys. He's crazy and talks about stuff with beer, and he's crazy. Exactly. I'm very crazy. But yeah, that'd be like a dream for me to spend time in Berlin. Because of the breweries there. Tony Howard, Bamberg, Dusseldorf, Cologne, Munich, Berlin, Bamberg. So many places to visit. I know, it's crazy. Look at that pesto chicken. Remnants of a work time dinner. It's like a shitty John Cooper Clarke title there for you. Anyway, spoons in there, and I'm going to open another beer because I'm actually enjoying this. I'm actually just almost paranoid that because it's just me and my brother in the house at the moment, because everyone else has gone to Scotland for the weekend. That's another place I want to visit, Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. I can't believe it. And I can't believe I've left that cheese out of the fridge for such a long time. Just very quickly, going back to cooking with beer. I've got myself a nice steak, which is defrosted. So I'm just going to let that stay at room temperature. And I'm going to be recording the video today. Yeah, I'm leaving the fridge open. What of it? I'm going to be recording a video today, cooking with Clueless. Let's see, Pete was already talking to James about 2020 trip around Scotland, crazy bro style. Yeah, and James actually invited me to go up to Sweden. But again, work can be a bit of a pain in the arse with its holidays. You'd think being on a 0 hours contract, I'd have the best flexibility in that regard, but they just seem to make it such a pain. An absolute pain to get that stuff sorted. Obviously, because it is a 0 hours, but I'm working every week, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, maybe at some point next year I can find something a little bit better that pays a little bit better, so I can spend even more money on beer. But yeah, going to be recording a video today where I'm going to be making a sort of a beer reduction for a steak and broccoli. This is the Birra Moretti. I can't read that because I just can't read the letters. I don't know what they say. Come back to England, Peter can send me this one. What was that, Paul? Let's see. Peter was always taught. Come back to England, Peter can spoil me this time. Exactly. There we go. Speaking of which, I still have that bag of beers, so I think pretty much all of them seem to look like they develop with age. So if you want me just to keep hold of them and let them mature for you for when you do come back, let me know. Or if you do actually want me to send them back over with a few added extras, because there's been some beers that I've had that I think you would enjoy or that I could just pick up and keep hold, whatever you want to do. So now you've got, I think Craig's got a few of your beers, and now Harry's got quite a few of your beers. So you've got a good surplus to come back to, Paul. And we're going to do the aging process for you if you like. Send them to me. I'm in absolute no hurry. Okay, man. Yeah, they've got pride and place and safety in the beer muff bag that they were put in. I just need to buy you a new beer muff glass because the style that you did buy smashed. They didn't have a new one at the time of when I bought the new glass, so I'll get that sorted. Wild beer, sleeping limes. Have you had it? No, I've not had too many Wild Beer Company. I better shut that fridge door. I've not had too many Wild Beer Company beers, which is a real travesty. They're like one of those breweries that they're really well respected and do really high quality beers, but just like Siren, Arbor, let's see, who else can I think of? What they called out of London, who did that absolutely insane chocolate porter. I can't remember their name. Yeah, they're just one of those breweries that really well established and appreciated within the community, but they just don't seem to get the credit that they deserve. Although I'd love to try that sort of ice beer that they did, which is like 30 quid or something, and you get it in a little box. That'd be a nice little selfish Christmas present to myself. But yeah, I've not tried that one. Or I might have tried it, I can't remember, I might have reviewed it. The name rings a bell. But yeah, I really need to... Weird Beard, that was another brewery who you could put into that category. Had some absolutely sensational, unique beers from Weird Beard, but I don't think they get the credit they deserve. Be back in a bit. Got to go and sort out a numbly. Well, there we go. But yeah, cheers for sticking around, Tony, and I'll probably still be online, you never know. And yeah, I love how people are going to come to this stream and think, oh, Brexit discussion. Yeah, not going to happen. Not intentional clickbait, but what I've wanted to say has been said. Got two of the icebox, one for me, please. I'll see what I can do, because I saw it on the beer temple, but they only had one on display. But if they got two, I will pick you up one, because I've heard really good things about it. But yeah, so basically I'm going to be making today a beer reduction with this Birra Moretti Gianni Antici. I know that's not what it says, but that's the best I could do with, which is basically like an 8% double malt beer. Specialty grain, it's been described as. Reviewed it last night. A really good beer. And it just had that, when I was tasting it, I was like, this would be fantastic in a beer sauce. So that's what I'm going to do. Got the steak, got some broccoli, going to make a nice beer sauce to go with it, and I'm going to eat like a king tonight. So yeah. What a whole load of nothing that was. I was going to make a peppercorn sauce, a beery peppercorn sauce, but we don't have any peppercorns. In fact, yes we do. Yes we do. Well, we've got remnants of peppercorns. I think that's enough. That's enough peppercorn. Is that a cat? No. I think that's enough peppercorns for a sauce for one person. So I might do a beery peppercorn sauce. I don't know. But I will be recording it, so if it fucks up, if I mess up, you can see it, you can laugh, and we can all move on as a species. So, gonna open this. I probably should review this, but do you know what? Nah. If I want to review Collective Arts, I'll buy a Collective Arts can, because I know we're getting them fairly regularly from now on in the UK. And I think they've actually started a new canning line at Collective Arts. So, yeah, I think we're going to have a good amount of Collective Arts coming into the UK from this point forward. And from what I've had, I think they're a fucking great brewery. But yeah, this is Cloudwater and Collective Arts. And this is the present... No, it's called Lower... It says Cloudwater and Collective Arts present Lower Than Zero. So brewed with our Canadian friends from Collective Arts in Hamilton, this Brut IPA, which is going to be the first Brut IPA that I've ever had, was slightly soured with our house Lactobacillus culture, then fermented with champagne yeast and dry hopped during fermentation with Equinot and Citra BBC. Oi oi. So, yeast is EC1118. Aroma hops are Equinot BBC. Oi oi. Citra BBC. Oi oi. Then we've got Pilgrim CO2 and then Alpha Extract, and then the malts are Bamberg Pils. Ooh, that sounds interesting. It's amazing how out of all of the ingredients, it's the Bamberg Pils, the malt, that excites me the most. So I can't imagine that they would be the smoked malt sauce. It would explicitly say smoked malts. But I've not heard of Bamberg specific Pils malts. So if any of you guys watching this can give me a bit of heads up on that, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, 7% ABV, 440ml can. Cool artwork, as you expect from both Cloudwater and Collective Arts. And yeah, I paid £4.65 for this from Northern Beer Temple. I actually got to try, oh my god, what's it called? Ransack the Universe at Indieman, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I think Rob had the, I think, was it an Imperial Porter or an Imperial Barrel Aged Porter, which I had a sip of that. And that was really good as well. Yeah, so just put that in the sink. So yeah, I've not had any Brut IPAs, just because the style itself doesn't tickle me. The idea of it just does not appeal to me. Although I had a Brut Pilsner when I was in Huddersfield with Craig, and that was good. That was a bit interesting. But like IPAs, it's like, But since I saw it was Cloudwater and Collective Arts, I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. But I'd love to get a few of the Collective Arts cans. I know Craig had a couple for me for a beer trade that we were doing, but it was just like, Craig, you might as well just enjoy them, and we can sort something out later. Plus, as I was saying, we seem to have a good distribution link. According to I don't know her name, but the cute blonde girl from Collective Arts who was telling us. By the way, I did pull the albino rhino card to no avail. We just talked about Chad for a little bit. Although I probably should have mentioned Chris from on the 10th for his Woody for IPA number 5, but oh well. I'm terrible at talking to people, what can I say? So let's see what we get. But yeah, apparently we're going to be getting a pretty much regular distribution from Collective Arts from this point forward, which is, I think it's great, because they've always been a brewery that I've wanted to try. There's loads of Canadian breweries just going off like the way they present their cans, the locations as to where their breweries are, because they're in like these really, like, to me it's overly romanticized, almost like Stephen King like locations, even though Stephen King's mainly in Maine, I believe he sets most of his stories. But like this sort of like small town right next to a big city, you've got like countryside, and there's, do you know what I mean, that sort of like empty yet vastness, and which I've just always appeals to me about Canada in general, because if I wanted to go to Canada, I'd go to the beer tube places. Yeah, I'd want to meet up with Chad, I'd want to meet up with Greg, I'd want to meet up with Nick, I'd want to meet up with Chris, I'd want to meet up with Lee, I'd want to meet up with Guy, I'd want to meet up with Hewitt, although I'll probably end up meeting up with Hewitt. You know, it's not in Canada, is he, Hewitt? I can't remember where Hewitt's based. But you probably got a better chance of meeting up with Hewitt outside of America and in North America. Do you know what I mean? Because he's all over the place. But yeah, I'd love to meet up with all those guys. Ashley Sexton. You name it. I just love to meet up with those people and spend time there. But yeah, I don't need to go to like Toronto. You know, I don't need to go to the big city. I'm happy to go to like the sort of outskirts. And plus, while I'm there, I can meet up with Joe. Paul can come down as well. Yeah, it's going to be an absolute mess. Everyone from the UK craft beer scene is going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be an absolute mental time. I can guarantee it. But I'd love to visit Canada. I'd love to visit so many places. Who the fuck am I kidding? But yeah, the beer in the glass, a little bit cloudy. Lovely orange hues to it. About, well, it's just a lining of head right now. So let's see what we get in the nose. And then after I've had a taste, we'll do some more washing up. Thrilling viewing. So if you... Oh, that's got a nice whiff. Until you get your nose really into that. Yeah, I'm getting that sort of like champagne. I'm getting the champagne. I'm getting that champagne sort of vibe. And almost that sort of like vinous character. But then a little bit of tangerine orange. Almost a bit of pear in there. Slight citrus hop character. It just smells dry. And that's not really, it's not like an offensive note by any stretch, but it's just like, I don't gravitate to that sort of thing. But I want to try these brut IPAs just to see what they're like. So let's see. Can't believe I've got 6 viewers. Who are you people? I love you. But yeah, so what's some of your favourite brut IPAs? Let's get the comments back up. Yeah. Oh, it's very dry on the back end. It's not bad, but they're just flavour profiles and characteristics in this style of beer that I just knew that I wouldn't like. There's a bit of funk on the back end as well. I mean, I've had a few IPAs with like sort of like white grape. White grape's such a shitty flavour, let's be honest. White grape is a really not a good flavour. Yeah, it's just a little bit vinegary on the back end. Oh, it lingers as well. I'm sounding like it's a bad beer. It's far from a bad beer. It's got a really nice sort of upper medium body to it. Alcohol is masked nicely. There's a nice citrusy hit right on the front, but then, ooh, I do not like the back end of that beer. I know, it's just not for me. Brut IPAs, I don't understand why that's popular. How have we... it's such an extreme shift, I've found. But then again, how did we get to hazy IPAs in the UK? Like, what was the big thing just before the hazy IPAs came into fruition? Was it that like fruit-infused IPAs? Was it even IPAs that were the big thing? Like, how have we come to this point where big, juicy, fruity, hop soup IPAs are like they're almost like the pinnacle of what brewers are aiming for? Like, how have we got to that point? Because last time I remember, it was like the West Coast resin bombs that were like, whoa, like high IBU count. And I just, did I just like completely blank out? Was I just too like stuck in German lagers at the time when they came into fruition? I'm sounding like I'm complaining. I'm not, because I've had one of the best beers of the year, Wander Beyond's Octopod, which was the gloopiest, fruitiest, sweetest, sourest, chewiest hazy IPAs that I've ever had, and it was absolutely phenomenal. But it's like, how have we gone from like West Coast to hazy to brut? I don't see the progression. And my mouth's, all the liquid's being drawn out of my mouth now. And it's not a bad beer. It's got nice flavours, but it's just not for me. It's the back end on the beer that I'm just not the biggest fan of. A little bit of stone fruit action, but it just gets a bit too overpowering on the back end. Now, No, 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 not my thing. So I will be trying other brute IPAs, of course, because you can't just base a style off one beer. Do you know what I mean? So, and by the way, I've not actually had any food today, so I probably shouldn't be drinking too much beer, especially if I've got an early start tomorrow. But hey ho, we shall see. Let's get this washing up finished, and I can wrap this up so people can get on with their own lives, and people can go back to their families instead of watching me stand in front of the camera doing the washing up. But yeah, just because if I was to record this video and then upload it, it would take absolutely ages. So these sort of like free-form discussion type things, I think they're much better suited, obviously, to a live setup. No real structure. Tangents aplenty. And yeah, maybe next time I'll actually be an actual human being and send out the link to people so they can potentially join me instead of just having to write comments. But yeah, I don't think I'd be here for this long. I thought like halfway through the washing up, just like, do you know what, fuck it, I've done. Not doing anymore. Not doing it. Just not doing it anymore. But yeah, it's been a nice little enjoyable experience. I'm very hungry, so I think I might have beans and sausage on toast. You want to watch me cook that? No, you don't. I feel like one of those IRL streamers. But I'm not like walking around the streets being an absolute twat to members of the public when they kick off about being on camera. Have you ever watched any of those like compilation videos of IRL stream fails? Some really good stuff, and like the people doing the stream feel like they're hard done by, but it's like, no, you without a permit filmed someone live, kept doing it, and then they hit you because you're an absolute twat. So yeah, just rinsing out the glass. I'm actually really not that big of a fan of that shape of glass, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut it off there. Just thought I'd do this. Got nothing else to do on a Sunday afternoon. A little bit bored. I'm like a lonely housewife recently. Unfortunately, I don't have any ethnic minority gardeners to keep me occupied like they do in the movies, but hey ho, a man can dream. And that was a joke, by the way. But yeah, a couple of beers, did the washing up, had a chat to a few friends. Just want to say thank you for the 300 subscribers. There will be a 300 subscriber celebration, which I will combine with the next milestone beer review. And something tells me there might be something wrong with the comments because I've just had nothing pop on the screen at all. Or maybe just people don't want to comment, Peter. That could be what's going on. Let's have a look. No, the last comment was Paul with his request for the Wild Beer Company Icebox. Even if there's just one left, I might just pick you it up. Because that's what brothers do. And, you know, he was very fucking generous in Manchester. So it's the very least that I could do, of course. Anyway, that's it. I'm hungry. Feeling not drunk, but just like I should eat something. I'll probably end up having a few beers tonight anyway. I'm not too sure if I want to do like a live stream of me doing the food tonight. His brother, I was painting a paint. I see. No problem. But yeah, I might. Do I want to make a proper video of my experimentation with cooking, or should I just do a live stream? I don't know. We shall see. And let's see what that said. I had a great time and loved all the stuff. Well, thank you, Paul, and thank you to everyone who's commented as well and watched, and anyone who watches once it's been fully uploaded to YouTube. I like these freehand sort of videos because I'm not gonna lie, it keeps making popping noises because there's water on the surface. I don't really have too many people in my local vicinity that I can talk about these sort of things with. Do you know what I mean? Because most of the people I know, they drink to get pissed. Whereas I would rather have sometimes 2 beers a day just to enjoy it. Because it's like, for me, it's not a beer. It's just like you were drinking a soda or something. And to be honest, I think a beer is much better than drinking some soda filled with God knows what. So, yeah, we need to get this sort of like stigma about beer sorted. Like, you don't have a problem because you like to have a beer every day after work. It's just, you drink the beer, you unwind. Some people could do the same thing with an orange juice or like a nice robust coffee, you know. In fact, let's talk a little bit about beer, just very quickly. Because I'm sure people who invest themselves in this sort of stuff probably have the person who comes up to them saying, "Oh, you drink too much." It's like, I drink because I choose to and I want to. I can choose to have just one beer, or I can choose to have, do you know what? I'm going to have a little bit of a session. If I don't want to drink a beer that day, I don't drink a beer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't need beer as a form of coping mechanism. I don't need beer as a crutch. I don't depend on beer. I don't need a beer to make myself feel better, either emotionally or in a physical sense, because if I might have drank, the night before. If I just want to sit down and have a beer, there's nothing different than me enjoying a beer than popping a can of Pepsi open. And there are people who drink like a full 2 litre bottle of Pepsi in a day. And that's doing much more damage to you than just, oh, do you know what? I'll have this 330ml bottle of beer after a day of work. It could have been a stressful day, it could have been a really good day at work. But I think we really need to get off our fucking high horse when it comes to beers. I mean, yes, there are people who do suffer from who are alcoholics and alcoholism. But the phone's ringing, so I think that's a sign for me to shut up. But you know what? It's like, yeah, I've seen people, I've known people who have suffered because of alcohol. And because I've seen that, and I'm in this world, I know that I don't want to be like that. But like, people are like, oh, they just don't understand. It's like, oh, you drink way too much. Do you know what? The worst thing that alcohol has done to me is it's made my weight go up. But I know that if I really wanted to, I could cut it down, incorporate that into my lifestyle. I mean, look at all these like sort of fitness clubs and running clubs and cycling clubs and that sort of stuff, all linked, actually like sponsored by the breweries themselves. So it's like, yeah, I'm just too lazy to lose weight at this point in time. Would I love to? Fuck yeah. I mean, my stomach is massive. It's absolutely massive. To the point where some of my favourite t-shirts look really fucking dumb. I mean, my Cloudwater t-shirt, it's a white t-shirt. Very thin material. So thin, you can see my belly button. But I love it. So, yeah, but at the same time, I'm not drinking to the point where I fit. Probably my body, I could cut down a little bit. But that being said, I could cut down on the amount of bread that I eat, the amount of fried foods that I eat. So it's like, why is alcohol like put on this sort of pedestal? Well, actually, no, it's far from it. These other vices. I mean, people get less shit about smoking, which is something that I do, on more of a social aspect. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Or when I've had a few beers and someone's smoking, I'll go out and talk to them and I'll have a cig. I take cigarettes with me to work. But if nobody I know is on a cigarette break at the same time I have a break, I won't smoke because I'm not addicted to it and I'm not addicted to alcohol. But I know that the people are, right? But get off my case, bro. But do you know what I mean? I think we really need to re-establish our relationship and the way we think about beer. Because, yeah, I'm really in the mood to have a proper session. Am I going to have a proper session? No, because I'm working tomorrow. I might have one more beer after this, might have another beer while I cook, and maybe I'll have a beer with my food, and then maybe I'll have a beer after that. Which is actually, when you think about it, that's a lot. But the fact that I've been able to say that might be a little bit too much beer should be proof enough that, yeah, you can control your alcohol intake. And yeah, we've just got this beer culture in the UK. And I know Paul's writing comments, which I will respond to when I finish this diatribe. Yeah, our culture with beer is absolutely horrific. Where there are people literally on the streets where I live, walking around with like a can of beer at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you know that that is not the first beer of the day, and that is genuinely sad. That is a problem. Don't get me wrong, but if you look at cultures like Germany, which, let's be honest, that's probably the biggest sort of culinary culture that Germany has. My nose is getting blocked up as I'm talking, so it sounds really fucking stupid. What the fuck? What was that? But do I get nasally when I get angry? Please don't say I do. But yeah, the way a lot of European countries see beer, they have a beer for every meal of the day. And you'll see people on the streets going to and from work. Do you know what? I'm going to have a beer as I walk to work on this lovely summer's day. Just have that one beer. It doesn't affect how I work. I'm not going to drink while I'm working. And do you know what? On the walk home, I'm going to stop off at the local shop, pick up another bottle of Hellers, walk home. Hey, crazy idea. I might have a beer with my tea tonight. You know. It's all about how you consume it and how you look at beer. And I mean, as I said, I'm not exactly the best person to talk about this because my weight has doubled pretty much with a combination of drinking. Not being as active as I was when I was in Germany, because I'd be going everywhere on my bicycle. I'd be having like days out on my bike, but it's like I'm in Scam. I don't want a day out in Scam. There's nowhere for me to go on my bike. Do you know what I mean? And of course, since being back in the UK and since coming out of a relationship, see, I was always under the impression, right, when you're suffering the heartbreak, you lose your appetite. No, it seems your appetite doubles. So, and plus there's the other side of being in a relationship with someone else, which was definitely helping with my weight. In fact, that was probably the biggest form of exercise that I was having. So, you know, I can blame the beer, but at the same time, I can blame myself because I'm not doing anything else to counteract my intake of food or alcohol. So why should we penalise the beer industry for that? And it's like, well, we're gonna invest millions of dollars or millions of pounds into this survey that's gonna make the beer industry look like an absolute Bond villain. Do you know what I mean? I think if we were just to take a step back, take things into consideration, and think about things logically, alcohol, it can be awful. It can lead to human suffering. But that's only if you let it. So if you've got a family member or a close family friend, let me get into a PSA pose. So if you've got a family member or a close family friend who's giving you shit, then just tell them what I've just told you. There you go. Problem solved. You know, it's not like we're we're not getting taxed up the arse for drinking beer. Do you know what I mean? If people want to eat, let them eat. If people want to smoke, let them smoke. If people want to drink alcohol, let them drink alcohol. Do you know what? If people want to take drugs, let them take drugs. So that's my speech. So I better answer Paul's comments, and then I will shut this stream off. So let's see. All right there. Go away. There we are. Here we are. Excuse me. Oh, look at that, cranberries. But yeah, there are people at my work who drink 7 Monsters or more and 5-hour energy drinks all night. Don't tell me that isn't bad for your health and your heart. Yeah, and those drinks are literally killing children. Let's not forget that. Let's get a better view, so you're not seeing the chin from underneath. People like to attack devices that they don't, or their family or friends don't indulge in. I assume vices, because I think Paul's still using the voice to comment system. God, 1 hour 20 minutes? Are you fucking kidding me? And let's see, or their family or friends don't indulge is in fast and look in the mirror on their own. Yep, there we go. I have 3. I'm done. I had a good session, good food, and good company with you. I'm done. That is a oh my god, I can't read today. It's because my nose is all stuffed. It's affecting my vocal ability. I swear it's not the alcohol. And then the last question that Paul writes is, that is the definition of demagoguery or soliloquy, having a speech. Oh my god, if the comment could stay on the screen, that would be absolutely fantastic. There we go. Speech in a solo one-person man, or only to be heard and not to be replied to. Well, there we go. So, yeah, that was my off-the-cuff beer and a chat stream. I will be doing these every now and then, so if anyone's got any topics they'd like me to cover, then fair enough. Am I really doing this like fuckboy end of vlog video sort of thing? It's like sick merch, bro. It's everyday bro, with the clueless drink of flow. Yes, I watch way too much bullshit YouTube. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. We got a little bit too opinionated at the end there, but that's what this is all about. And yeah, big thank you to Paul, Tony, Craig. Oh my god, let me see if I can get the names of everyone who's commented, because I want to thank everyone who contributed. Then we've got Greg Bullman. Thank you, my friend. Who else did we have? I've already thanked Tony. Yeah, there we go. Didn't have too many comments, so it's quite easy for me to look. And yeah, I think that's everyone who commented. But yeah, anyone who comments after this stream has finished, then massive thank you. Thank you for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, just let me know. And any topics you'd like me to cover, we'll do this in the future. So thank you all. You all take care. And yeah, I don't know at this point if I will live stream the Cooking with Clueless, or if I'll just do a video and upload it at a later date. I think the live stuff might be a bit more entertaining. We shall see. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers.